and boil the water. You should let the water boil and get it out. Then you mix the honey.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, that's what happens. So, Carlos, when you come visit me, I will give you that my own uh, handmade ginger tea, lemon tea for you.
I cannot wait. I've seen your studio, of course, virtually,
Yeah,
and I really look forward to the day to
yeah,
actually get to do yoga with you in real life.
yeah,
Not
sure.
that it, not that it was in real life, but I mean,
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
presence, I think would
yeah.
be very, very cool.
No, people do come to the studio and do it on their own, and especially the obese people, they want to be directional and all that. They do come here and do that. But when I do the morning yoga session, it depends upon who is coming at which hour. Jacob came a couple of times, so
Yeah, I. It's one of my favorite things to do,
yeah,
and hopefully I'll be able to
yeah.
continue the process and
Mhm.
develop my. I don't know. I would love to develop like a unique thing, set of exercises that I would be able to do on a daily basis. That's my
Yeah,
goal. Yeah.
you
I
could
just
do.
want to remember the ones that Doctor, I try to think back and remember the ones you were doing,
Yeah,
but I should have written them down or something because I don't. It's hard for me to remember all the ones that you would show me
yeah,
because there were so many. I've taken yoga before, and they go through the regular
mm,
sun salutations and
yeah,
the warrior and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But Dr. Rao, you were showing me stuff that I had never heard of, like some of the breathing and grunting techniques that were very interesting.
yeah,
That I had, I forget what you call them, but the different breathing
yeah.
techniques,
See,
which a lot of people don't cover in regular yoga. Regular
yeah,
yoga is just kind of, I
no,
guess, I thought I knew yoga until I took yoga from you, and I was like,
no.
oh my gosh, there's a whole nother,
No,
realm.
there is several layered approach. Okay, you have to understand the body is in 5 layers. Okay, layers mean that imagine yourself, you are your real interior self is your real energy, the life force, right? Around that there are 5 layers, like the most outermost is our physical body, right? The muscles and bones and all that. And then there is an energy body. Within ourselves we have an energy body, pain reception, and all those things. Then there is a mental body which is made up of thoughts and really feelings and all that, right? And then there is a intellectual body which is our understanding of the world and what kind of concepts we have, what kind of real understandings about things, right? And then there is the layer where you have happiness, joy, and all those things. So these 5 layers, it's not that one is above other, or it is like a intermingled. But if you want to understand how you want to cultivate um, good body, you know, and then you want to cultivate your senses, you want to cultivate your mind, and you want to cultivate your heart, and then go and stay in your real energy, real life force. That is the way they were envisioned. For me, as a physician, really helped me to treat the whole person by understanding these layers, right? In my medical school, what they taught us about body, and go to the cellular microbiology, cellular biology, biochemistry, and all that. But also, they taught us about all the systems, but in the same body. Then they separated mind and psychiatry as separate, which is not really separate. We are one, right? We don't have separate head and body. So that's the way the modern medicine treats. Like if you are psychologically ill, they send you to a psychiatrist. But whereas these ancient sciences, they treated the whole person. That is the style I bring in. If you want to listen to the patient, understand him, what is development, what is knowledge, what is inheritance, and all that, you just have to talk to him and let him explain to you what works with him and all that. So that is getting difficult in the modern practice because they don't give you much time. They want you to rush people one by one, see them and document them and bill them. That's the frame they have. If we want to spend more time, these middle people say, no, 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 you cannot give more than 8 minutes per patient. That's it. After 8 minutes, he has to go. So patients also don't get satisfied when you do that. So these 5 layers, you keep it in mind and look at yourself like that, and then you'll be able to do more yoga or other also like a Tai Chi, Kaigon. You can all those based on these energy systems. Once you understand that, then suppose you have a stabilized vision. I mean, emotions are stabilized, your thoughts are appropriate, and you are able to relax easily, and you are able to have a lot of energy, and then it makes sense to have a good body. But a lot of people sacrifice on that just to sculpt the body and maybe relax once in a while or take some medications or alcohol to relax. Those are causing problems for us down the line you know so, as I said, yoga is not a religion, it's a lifestyle to keep our body and mind synchronized, and then they are pretty good. But actually, in if you want to go to deep into the yoga, yoga is not just about body. Body want to be maintained, but it's about the inner life force that you got to know and establish yourself. Then you can have management of thought, emotion, senses, and body. That way. You got it?
A lifestyle.
Exactly. That's the lifestyle. Um, but you cannot really practice physical yoga only and keep your mind, opinions, everything at a base level and say that I'm going to do both. It doesn't work that way. You may have a good exercise with the yoga, but you won't get the intended integration, intended union of your mind and body and spirit. That is the higher thing that you can get from yoga. So I'm pretty comfortable with it. And in the beginning, when I started with the physical yoga, but then I didn't have understanding of anything else. But as my understanding grew and really, um, followed great exponents of yoga, they showed me the depths. And then I embarked on my own study. And being a scientist and a physician definitely have an advantage because everything makes sense. you know what we read and how we behave and all that, everything makes sense, especially the psychosomatic illness. That I can really help with people. Suppose you come to me, Carlos, you have something diagnosed like a minor or major, whatever this is. Then how you respond to it depends upon your mind receptivity and how you take it and how you have a bigger picture of life. Otherwise you may panic and you may secrete more hormones. That's what happened in COVID. A lot of people, the moment they heard that they have COVID presence, they panicked and they got their immune system react very vehemently, and then they succumbed to that. Many of them, the number goes for as far as 90% of the people who died because of that. They had the immune system responded to it, but then fear and anxiety makes it much, much worse. That is the psychosomatic illness getting worse. Even cancer patients also react like that. But the people who do not react like that, take it into account and then take things at a time, they can easily get over things like COVID in the beginning. But then later on, they got the immunity enhanced by the vaccines, and then they were able to fight them much easier. Make sense? I used to run a cancer support system, because usually we are the first to either diagnose or refer to the somebody to diagnose, right? Then the reports come to me. If I order a mammogram, that won't go to anybody. First, it will come to me as the primary doctor, right? So I used to see them, then I used to sit down with them and talk to them about the cancer. And it's really, if you don't use the cancer, malignant people are okay. But if you use cancer, the moment, even if it is benign, they get worried. And, it looks like a normal reaction. But then the easier they kind of take it, the better it is for them. Then they won't be an enemy for their own. This is very important to understand. Yeah. I have some friends on the Noom vibe. Let's see who they are. Dudley, Srija, Saram, and Arab. Angela. Hi, Angela. Come up. I didn't talk to you for a while. Then James, Antonio, and Joy in Lanza. Okay, more people will come probably. I opened early too today because I have the time. I was doing a book and then I thought I will go ahead and do that. The book was Jacob about how can you go from hurriness to flow state. That is the book I was writing about. And then there is a large section on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. This is supposed to be a standard for yoga, and they talk about yoga of mind, how you can concentrate, how can you develop this flow state and take it anywhere, where whatever you are doing, you are not doing in a hurry, in anxiety mode, rather relaxed and enjoying the process in a flow state. That is getting rare now because people are always hurry, always thinking of some danger, something like that, right? So that's not good. So everybody's silent. Just I don't. Anyway, did I tell you about today's topic, Jacob? What we talked about uh, in the proactive wellness this morning?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you should attend to those or listen to them on the replays, because it's a series. Today is the 18th day, but the last 5 days or 4 days, I think. I think three of them on this title, where proactive wellness and how to really go towards the proactive wellness. And I was talking about ancient wisdom blended into modern practice. How do we do that? So that was the talk I had, and tomorrow it will be continued on that. Altogether, I had 15 topics. I think so far we did 3 or 4 of them, and we'll continue that. It happens in the morning, early in the morning, and then later on people come for the yoga class, and that's why I kind of gave up at that time. So
Yeah, I would like to check out more of the replays. I feel like there's a lot of
yeah,
stuff
they
there.
will be. They won't be on the clubhouse though. They are only done exclusively on the noon vibe, in the morning. Because somebody asked me to do exclusively. Um, Still, I open some of these things in the evening, but in the morning I'm doing exclusively on them because they are focusing on the wellness. So I'm also encouraged by that. They don't encourage me personally, but then I take interest in the wellness people who are promoting their coaching. There are a lot of wellness coaches came on the new vibe. That's a very welcome sign, so that people can learn a lot about different aspect of wellness. Some are helping diet, and some are helping with exercise. Some are helping with uh, relaxation. Some are helping with meditations and all that. So even though they are doing at their level, they go much deeper sometimes. So I go and support them. Um, I'm supporting the cause of wellness rather than anything else. This towards wellness systems is a bigger effort going on. These talks are nothing. These are only just to introduce people to the my efforts, what I'm doing. But then at the universities level, at the medical systems level. That is where the discussion should happen. But the people who are consumers of the healthcare, um, probably hospitals will be mad at me, because if the way I'm helping them to be well by themselves, probably would lose some business for them. So they will be unhappy with me, because that's my goal, right? Be well by yourself, lead a lifestyle that's good for you. But I always been like that, so this is not something new. So always going for the roots of illness and helping them. My thing went on for so many years because I'm on my own, my clinic, right? So I didn't have to answer to anybody. And as long as I'm not hurting my patients, and as long as I'm not rubbing it something on them, and they were learning good things, they improving their lifestyles, and then they were getting better. So nobody had problems. But the hospitals, if they come to know by me attending to all these things, they are getting better, they're not using their services, probably they'll be mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually going on, because um, I kind of brag that I am not using any medications. I am kind of very energetic. I engaged in a lot of activities because these lifestyles, like the lifestyle is very simple. We eat at home mostly, and we try to bring organic vegetables and fruits and all that, and we don't eat outside, and then always active, either teaching yoga or doing yoga or going on walks or whatever, right? And then I do have a very quality sleep because of all the things I understood about sleep. And of course, always silent in my mind and do stuff. That way I don't have to do meditation as a whole, but I'm always meditative. This kind of lifestyle can be learned by anybody. Example is me. If I could learn, all my people, all my friends, and everybody can learn. So it used to be like you have to be something, you have to take Diksha and all. No, it is not. It's just understanding the processes. You don't have to take any religion also. And actually, I kind of say, just a be human being, don't have to be a religious person for that. Be kind, be nice, be helpful, and then your mind will become then you are trying to amass some masses of richness and all that, right? So this lifestyle of simple life outwardly and higher thinking life inwardly is better suited for human beings, because we have that intelligence. So that takes some control, that takes some putting on I don't want to get involved in this, like somebody asks me for dinner, we go there, but then if they offer me drinks and all that, I politely refuse, because I don't drink. Somebody's smoking and they want to smoke. I never liked smoking anyway, never smoked, never liked the smell of it. And also I saw too much of suffering because of the smoking. So in my 40 some years of practice, I saw so many smokers. So I don't want to touch that. So there are weaknesses in the civilization as the modernity came. So we got to watch that. So I'm telling this also. People go on. One of my friends is talking about this hurriness, and then that gave me an idea. Why don't I write something about why can't you move from the hurriness which is prevalent all over in the society I'm in, and also if you go other way, because they are hurry, 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 do this, do that, do, and they never learn we can do stuff, but in a calm and in a flowy way. Your work flows where you are not really worried inside. So that kind of, there are tools for that. I'm writing that in there. How does that sound, Jacob?
It sounds preferable to every alternative that I've heard.
Yeah, this because people are really paying price for that. With mental illness, with energy loss with actually because of the hurriness, the productivity is going down. That's the fact, so you get to, that's why they said you have to have self-care and all that, but I go a little deeper. So this will be a real service if it comes out simple and they can take it. By the way, some of these topics are going to be discussed in my retreat on April 20th 21st, online retreat. But all these like a information overload, brain fog, poor attention, poor memory, then exhaustion, stress, and also like a, what is that syndrome? Uh, imposter syndrome. All these modern problems I'm going to take and address them with some wisdom from the ancient as solutions. Thereby it makes sense to them. It makes practical. Some of the, like a digital toxicity, some people don't accept. But the way I show the digital toxicity, then people say, "Oh yeah, we're succumbing to it." So then I kind of tell some ways how to detox yourself on a regular basis so that you're focused and you're enjoying your work and you're really getting happiness for you and for others. So that is a variety of topics I kind of gathered, and there are the regular things I see everywhere. And then, for example, today I talked about don't react to everything, and especially trivialities with the emotional reaction, and then paying the price for it by building your stress, right? Don't react, but then learn to deep breathe. That will help you not to react that much quickly. And but don't neglect your work, respond to it without these emotional reactions. It sounds very simple, but it's very difficult because before they know it, people get angry, people get upset, people get disappointed. All those emotional reactions, you can really slow them down at least, and don't get to them all the time. If it's a really trivial matter, then say this is not what my health is, so let me take it easy. That kind of thing. I think your generation, Jacob, I think many of these sessions will be very valuable to you as we go into the AI and more algorithm ridden or avatar ridden or protocol ridden things come, and then you will be automatic functioning of the human being, whereas the machines become the real thing. Have you thought about that?
Wait, what was the last thing you just said?
You will be like a mechanical human being, whereas the robots become the real thing.
Sheesh. Yeah.
That's the
I
threat.
mean, yeah.
That's the threat that's brewing. But I'm going to be a human being all the time because all this technology only tools for me. Okay, I can leave it, and then without anything I can live, no problem. So I just watching. I don't want to get into the habit, right? Like a phone also, I just put it away. That's it. Put it away. I can be without it for hours and days and like that if I want to. But when I use it intentionally, that's okay. Then I can put it away. Okay.
Mhm.
Look.
And yeah, even if robots claim one day that they'll say, "Hey, we have more sensors than humans now,"
Hmm.
so it's
Yeah.
okay. I still,
No, no, that is
if
the thing. Whether they would be benevolent or they would be cruel, right? It depends upon who is programming, right? And somebody, even now, if you take countries, so some of the countries are getting more like a autocratic and more like controlling us. China is like that even now. India is getting to somewhat there. Trump wants to do that as the first day itself. So Russia is like that. So if these people are controlling the machine learning and creating programs to dominate us, That's one thing people worry about. I think it will take some time to do that, but even now, people are really dependent on the technology a lot, and that is breeding some problems. You are not in control really. Lots of times you give the control to the uh, we think it's a convenience, but that sometimes it does. What they are worried about is if the machine learning learns its own language and it creates so many things that are beyond our capability, that's when you can really get into trouble. Especially if we go to crack rogue people, dictators or politicians or anybody. Even if the company boss can watch you more, can know what is going on, and they can read what is happening in your mind. So those are the scary things that they were spreading. So we'll see how that goes. I think humans can be better if only they realize cognitive thing is not the main thing. We have that energies within. Those are the ones which are us, and we have cognition as a tool. But I think many people don't accept it when you say that. They say, without the cognition, without the things that I built up with my thought, what am I? If you take away all that, my roles, my titles, my accumulations, and all that, then what am I? Where am I? They always ask me that question. Then I say, that is what is the problem. Right now, you don't know who you are. And you are the real thing, is not these other things. But you are getting lost in these other things, identifying them as you are. So once cognition is taken over all these things, what are you going to do with yourself? How are you going to identify yourself? Maybe people will really dwell in that life forces I talk about, the self I talk about. Maybe they will touch that joy which I brag about all the time. I mean bliss. Right? A lot of people are like that. Then more people will understand. See, my thing is this. For Buddha to really understand what is self-realization, what is suffering, what are the solution for it, it took almost 28 years, I think, to come to the stage where he could really be not suffering while you are in difficult situations and all that. So at this time, we can understand them much faster, provided you are open to that kind of education. And you can educate yourself much faster. My point is that. So that will be speeded up too. I also developed a fellowship in self-realization, which is very simple to learn it. But you got to develop this passion to the other silly things that we do. Then you can learn what is what very quickly. Then even if the machines are doing by protocol or all this, it doesn't really matter to you. Okay. Ask me anything. I know there are people sitting here, but they don't want to come up. So I don't know what's wrong with me. They don't want to come and talk to me.
No, you have a very good energy flow right now. It's just, I think we're all just taking it in.
I'm just being myself. I don't bite anybody. I just way to chit chat people. So I was with somebody this morning in Clubhouse, and the man is confused completely, right? And his mom told him too that you are a confused man. And he comes here and then he says, I love you all and all that. But then he kind of vexes everybody so much. Then uh, they removed him and they brought him again and all that. But he's not following news. He calls other people idiots, they don't know anything, that kind of. Then he said, Dr. Rao, I have a question. And he opened it. I was waiting for the question, but he went on something unrelated, something not related to each other, what he's talking about, going on that, this, and all that. Then I asked him, where is the question? What is the question? Oh, I'm coming to it. Another 5 minutes he goes on. Then I said, this is it. Ask me a question. If I can answer you, I'll answer. Otherwise, I'm going. You know? Because what's the point? He doesn't come to the question at all. You know, all those people are kind of 1.5 hours they are dealing with him like that. Okay, you want to have party like this? Go ahead and have it, and I walk out on them. I'm not like that. I'm kind of want to engage people. You know, so
Yeah, sometimes I don't have a question. I
yeah,
just want to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's why I put it chit chat. I don't major philosophical talk or anything, but just be there. And some people talk to nice topics today on the moon. Right? I was after I was watching some Western movie, Gregory Peck's old movie. They colorized it. You know, uh, I forgot Wallet and something. Uh, it's a very good. They built this fortress in the valley, and there's only small entrance to that, and these Indians pour through that, and then they destroy the fortress. The more times they build it up, they destroy that. You know, so the fights and the invasion they were done very realistically, very nice. You know, we grew up with Gregory Peck, Guns of Navarone, McKenna's Gold, things like that. Right? So I know Gregory Peck very well. You know, he is a big hit in India. Yes, he's a big star, big star. So, but they made this black and white into colorized version, so it was very nice. So I was watching that and also listening to the people on the Mumbai. And one thing about one lady came and talking about woman empowerization, something like that. That was I had a lot of interest in that because even now um, lot of countries have real suppression of women. 50% of the population, they're completely suppressed. Okay. Um, there is a book, Jacob, I have read about these women who are exceptional in their facing suffering because they were exposed to extreme suffering. But the thing was, they stood up and they produced inner resilience so great without any training, anything, and they became the symbols of leaders around the world. You know, why? Because in this book they kind of found women who have real stories like that, and how it's not like a written thing or anything from somewhere. They faced the life, the problems of life, and without going to any extreme, they kind of stood against them and brought their inner resilience and then faced them. And that was exemplary. When you really read that, you'll be shocked um, by the intensity of the suffering that they had to go through, you know. And some of them were educated women too, but they also have to go through that. Really moved me. Mm, uh, I had that in my Kindle. uh, Something about fly or sky, something sky, something like that. When I remember, I'll tell you about that. But that was real stories of several women compiled by our journalists, and then they published that book. You know, whenever I have an executive or a woman that has this imposter syndrome, she's bright, she's brilliant, she has achieved, but then she doesn't clean it, she doesn't get it very well from her, right? So I kind of quote them and then give them the book too. It was in the clinic for a while. So
And what's that book called again?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember, you know.
Oh yeah, Sky
Ah,
Ball or something.
yeah, that's a very nice book, you know. um, of course, in history we have so many people. I went and visited a palace in Jaipur, India, one time, and there is this famous story. There is this beautiful princess that was really beautiful, so they don't want to show her to any enemies, right? So uh, this opposite king of somebody from the Muslim, I think, he wants to see her. But then they don't show her directly, but they show her image in mirror or something like that. And then Once he wants to see her, then he says, "I want to marry her." And she's already married to somebody else, and then they are fighting each other, right? So he doesn't. Then a big war breaks out, and this woman, I think all her male householders, they are killed, and then this woman with 50 other women in the palace, they go and do mass suicide, but they would not let the guy touch or see her. See, so that's kind of very, dramatized and then projected in movies. It's very moving too. I was there under the tree where they committed suicide. I was there in the tree when we went to visit the palace. The palace is so huge. It's like a town, and people are so many houses they are considered they're living in, but the wall of the fort is still there, and the actual fort where the palace, everything is there. They made it into a 5 star or 4 star hotel. We were in other hotels that were like that. The palaces of those eras, they made into major hotels, right? So we were able to see. I think two of them we resided. 3 or 4 days we were one, and then we moved to other one too. So it's really fabulous the way they built the huge on the top of the hill, huge rocks. You know how they used to move? They used to move with elephants. So the stories are very fascinating. And this woman was very courageous, and the way she led everybody into the mass suicide, that was not look like somebody cowardice, but more like a very brave person, not to surrender to herself to the enemy and all that. It's not done out of desperation crying. It is done with the dignity, with a lot of courage. Mm. Makes sense to you, Jacob? That kind of story?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's definitely
Yeah. See, in India at that time and later on also, they call it, if you don't want to lose your virginity, then they compare it like a selam. Selam means character. If somebody comes and occupies you like that, they feel like their character is gone, you know. So they will do anything to protect that, okay? But they will not succumb to it, you know. So that's a big deal in India at that time and later on also. But lately, a lot of disturbing things are happening, you know. But at the time, they used to protect themselves not to be raped by anybody. Very big deal for the women, you know. And then they kind of thought anybody doing that forcible sexual assault is a big crime at the time. So anyway, things have changed, and so much going on all over the world. It is creeping in every country, not just one particular country. Every country is creeping. All this violence, all this disorder. That's why these inner things are important to teach people. Violence is not the way, but having some friendship and love, there's a way. We have to really exemplify that, live it, and then also talk about the intricacies of that. And the ancient wisdom goes much deeper into ourselves than what the modern scientists understand. Even now, they are behind them. So that is where how does a human being built up the structures within, and how can he nurture them, how can he enhance them, and how can he really in his life influence. For example, physical illness, obviously you can get better faster, and you can maintain lack of illness for a long time, and also you will be living like a young man, strong body, strong mind. Then you are really proactively living your life. That's one thing. But inward also you understand the issues of major proportions, much better, and you can be harmonized with that, and also you can contribute to that very well. So there's a lot of advantage understanding the balance, both inner and outer, from that ancient times. It could be Chinese, it could be Japanese, it could be. Somebody asked me this afternoon a question: how come Japanese are committing so many suicides and so much, disorder is going on? Their economy is collapsing and all that, but they have this cultural phenomenon too. Then I told them Zen culture was very balanced. They used to die if they are not able to perform the duties that they want to. That was the some sake thing is there. But then now they turned so much into the Western lifestyle, they lost touch with their own inner strength, and that's why they have to come back to that. So we were talking about that. Somebody asked me a question about in China also. They put the nets on the road because people are jumping from the top floors and dying. So they put they put these nets so that they will be protected. You know that, Jacob?
Yeah, at the
Mm.
Apple factory.
Yeah, not only Abu Factory, all over. They were happening before that, and so they said it's too much doing, and then they are removed from their children, family in the village, and young kids are bringing up other kids. That's a kind of a social upheaval. So really problems there, and then the Communist Party, they amass everything. They are protected even from the pollution. You see, they have better ACs, better aeration, and all that, so they can stay in the office most of the day and they escape the pollution outside. Whereas ordinary people have to breathe that air. Very injustice. I think the gap of haves and have-nots is also there. Can you believe that? They are communists, they are supposed to give everybody equal share now, but no, they have extreme poverty. Ontario is still, they got 500 million people out of poverty, but still a lot of people are poor in China.
Yeah.
Mm. Anywhere is the same thing, doing stuff all the time and then getting problems, stress, and all these social evils and all that. But whereas if you can really understand the balance and spend some time on the inner balance, I think people are better off. It's as simple as that. So,
Yeah. The phrase "do what you love" is appearing in my mind, but
mm,
I also recognize sometimes it's very difficult to. There are times in life where we're not doing things that we necessarily love, but we
yeah,
may have to,
yeah. No, let me,
work to survive and other things like that.
yeah, let
But
me break that perspective. The philosophically, what they said was, you love and do whatever you want to do, that will be okay. That means not loving what we do, that may be there. You love to make engines, you love to make cars, you love to make electrical stuff, whatever, right? There's nothing wrong with loving what you want to do, but the real thing is, have love in your heart and then do things, then you cannot do anything wrong. But mechanical things, getting loving for that, that's not the thing they're talking about. So do what you love means love first and do things, and then also most of the time people don't find what they want to do in life and how they can grow to love it. Okay. So this is actually discussed in Bhagavad Gita about developing a skill to do well or whatever we do. That is yoga too. Yogasu kaushalam. Yoga karmashu kausalam. That means skill in action. That leads to loving what you are doing because it's coming so way and then you are in flow. Whereas if you don't have love in your heart and cannot give it to anybody else, then whatever you do will be for your own selfish needs. And that is where people suffer from the dirt of that desire. But once you get rid of it and then do things and give away things, actually you feel better. So there's a slight difference. Um,
I like that.
yeah, this was discussed by Krishnamurti also at one time. He said that, sir, first please love, then whatever you do will be the right. So his definition is we usually look at people conditionally. We don't look at people just people. We look at like a what is the transaction I can do with this guy? What are the things that he will do for me that will be beneficial for me? Or how can I assess him? How can I analyze him? How can I judge him? And look at stuff like that. Then what happens is that's not love. That's like a smartness. That's a cleverness that you are doing. But if you don't have the image that was made by your thought, like this lady is like this, those things are not there. In spite of that, you kind of relate to them as a human being, and that conditioning self that we create is gone. Then we're accepting them as human beings. That's a big deal. But usually, if I see you, if I see somebody else, immediately if I get this, uh, 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 it will be like imported, right? Then, oh, he's like that, and then you come and relate. Then you are not really related to me as I am now. You are relating to the image you built in your life, head. So get rid of that, and then forget about those things, and forgive, and then when you come, relate to them with a beginner's mind. That is love. That's how Krishnamurti defined it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now this
I
is
think.
this is I experimented with my relationships with people. So it became easier. In the beginning, it was like a entrenched opinions, judgments, conclusions, concepts. That was the way we were brought up, right? So they were there, and then they come up immediately. The moment I see somebody, I get a, oh, this woman did this to me, or those kind of things. If they really do bad things. But then once you understand people, how they are behaving, what they are doing, and all that, you kind of let go everything on a daily basis, then it becomes very easy to forgive and forget. You know, then the advantage is your mind is clean. You are not weak, you are stronger. Then you may not ask anything, but they have an effect on them because you are relating completely friendly, and you have forgotten all that, so that makes much easier for them to talk to you. Maybe they are feeling guilty, but then they see this attitude, that guilt goes away, and then they relate to us in a very positive way, and that's how the love gets up. It's hard, I know. I'm not saying it's easy, but that whole definition of love like that, I thought there's another way too. If you identify the real life force within each of them, then we call that the divine self that's giving life to us, and you identify everybody at that level, and don't look at the color of the skin, economics, anything like that, then because we are all in that one energy, and all these things are purified, then you're automatically loving everybody because we are all in the same energy. But that's difficult to people to have interconnectedness, oneness. All these things are philosophies, they think, but actually that's the only reality. Everything else is kind of built up around that. So once you are in that, your mind does not have all these so-called images, then you can be really lovingly relate to them. Difficult to practice, but it is true. When you do that, even for those 2 days, if you can do that, you'll feel a whole lot lighter because you're not carrying so many things in your mind. So it becomes so much easy to save the energy too. You know,
Hmm.
that's a big energy saver. Because we're not we're when we judge these people, when we are looking at them, then our images and everything takes precedence, and we have to get away from them, even to relate to them, or suppress them, or continue to think of them. All this thought continuity is really unnecessary at the time. That's why if you laugh or smile with people, people get along well with you, you know, rather than you're frowning, serious, and all that, people will be scared about it, you know. Or if you bring on, okay, you did that to me that day, I'm going to beat you up, or whatever you say, because they did, you're justified to behave like that. And that leads to a lot of conflict, not only internally, outwardly too. So then you spend a lot of energy unnecessarily. So this thing I practiced all the time and I'm in now is like a moment to awareness involves all this. That's why I don't have wastage of energy. Depletion of energy will not happen because I don't have to fight so many thoughts, so many things are going on. You know, just be in the same moment. How simple it is. Maybe. Are you able to stay in the present moment?
Sometimes.
That's good. Sometimes also is better than not being at all. You know, give your time. Slowly it will come. Let it happen naturally. But then my point is, then you can subjectively feel this lack of depletion of energy. That means you are more uh, energetic. You know.
I like earlier in the conversation when you said there's the intellectual body and the energy body. Actually, the most popular show right now is called The Three Body Problem, and it's about physics.
Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, but the physics also, the quantum mechanics, they are talking about one energy, and we are all on it. You know, when you go down to the stocks and go down, diminishing all the body part to that level, that's all energy they see. They don't see any things like. We are floating in energy in a sense. You know, we are not like a solid this thing that is all illusion, but we are actually floating energy. Everybody is one energy. And actually ancient Indians said that in so many ways. But now it's fascinating for me to see the scientific developments, and also compare it with what they were for thousands of years, you know. So it's easy for me to really understand these things faster, easier. And then also I don't have to say this is better, that is better. Kind of, I only see how can we fuse this new scientific developments, breakthroughs, with ancient philosophy. And don't have to compare them, but kind of easy to understand both things. And then some things on the mind, some things on the spirit, what you relax and all that. Definitely, I look to the east, you know. But some new technology that is breakthrough, AI, microbiome, or any epigenetics, anything like that, I look to the new scientific breakthroughs in the West. You know, and that's very exciting adventure, Jacob. You know, because there's so many things are happening right now.
Exploration.
Exploration to the new things, and also understanding the old things. Even understanding there also, you got to really explore. Don't accept anybody's theory or anybody's interpretation. For example, if I say you have five layers, you know, and you have the concept of it, but in daily life, see that you have the senses getting in all information, but who is experiencing that sensory input you can identify. Then you will create a gap between what's happening and you, and then you can watch them without really getting involved. And that is very exhilarating to you. But that's a subjective thing, right? You cannot do for somebody, they have to do it, you know. You can only say turn inward and find these things and all that. But for them, it's a theory. It doesn't happen. You got to actually do it in your own being. Then it will be good. I can tell you this: that's the lightness of being is real. No doubt about it. All the weight that you had before because you are thinking, oh, I'm intellectually thinking, I'm such a deep thinker, I go into the depths of it and all that. You're digging your own thing and you're going deeper, deeper. Then you see all that the dirt you are carrying with you that you dug up. That is the heaviness of the personality, ego, and all that. But then once that is all gone, lightness, lightness of being, very light, very nice. I think Milton wrote a poem on this, Jacob, if I recall it correctly. um, as the uh, as um, the smell of a nice flower is coming to you, and you let it come and enjoy it and kiss of joy and then let it go you know but if you hold on to it, or if you want to really control it, then you lose it. There's a beautiful line there. I'm not able to recall it completely, but I have written down something. Milton wrote this. uh, it's about joy and pleasure. If you let the splendor of the flower come to you and you make it a kiss of joy and let it go, it is much more enjoyable than holding it and killing the smell, something like that. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, something. I will get the poem, then it makes a lot more sense, what he talked about there. You have anything you want to talk about? Then I will. Otherwise, I will close the room. There's nobody coming up. So yeah. There are 14 people. I don't know they are there or they are gone. They came there. I don't
know. No. I like the quote of, about prolonging joy until it's no longer joy. I think that's very deep.
I'll get the poem. Then we will enjoy the poem. I will look it up. It is written somewhere. So.
And your online retreat, it's April 21st?
21st, Saturday, Sunday of that weekend. So.
20 and 21st at what time?
It is like a morning evening sessions, because so many things we are going to do and experience at the same time, answer questions. There are sessions 3 or 4 in the morning, 3 or 4 in the evening, each only 20 minutes. Like for example, if I want to explain this particular pranayama is good for this, then I will take the class along with me and they can do it, and they can, it is like a learning as you are doing it, and take it home like that, along with the notes that will be provided. So it's kind of a experiential retreat from your regular lifestyle to something uh, holistic and really nourishing experience. That's why how I want people to be.
Well, sounds amazing. Yeah.
It's going to be definitely different. That much I can promise. And also very pleasant, very. A lot of times people, when they talk to me individually, that's what they say. It's so pleasant to talk to you, Doctor, because there's a meaning behind it. There's an effort into being deliberately like that and not hiding anything inward, but inward, keep it clean. Everything comes out okay outward too. But I want to give the techniques that you can take home and you can actually put into your lifestyle practices. So.
Yeah, sounds exactly amazing.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you tomorrow then. Okay. So.
Have a great day, Dr.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, everybody, on the Noon Vibe. I'll see you tomorrow.